a lot of people think that being a YouTuber doesn't really do much for you. It's just making videos and uploading them to YouTube, right? But there's actually a lot more that goes into being a YouTuber, and there's a lot that YouTube can really teach you, and being a YouTuber can really help you learn. So let's talk about that today. October 29th, 2016 is the first video on my channel that is currently set to public. Now, I used to have a whole bunch of other videos, but those videos, a long time ago, I downloaded them off of YouTube and removed them because, honestly, I didn't like them. I was rather embarrassed about them when I first restarted my channel. So, if I tell you that date, October 29th, 2016, it sounds like it was, that's a long time to have a YouTube channel, right? But I didn't really do much after 2016 on here. And I spent the next few years kind of not sure about whether I wanted to even do YouTube. The very next video that I have currently public right now, I'm looking at it, March 13th, 2021, was just kind of a test video. Then June 7th, 2021 is when I kind of considered the actual birth of my channel as it stands today. Now, there's been several iterations of it over the years, but for the past 3 years almost, I've been pretty consistent in uploading a few videos at least every single month. There were some down months, there were some that weren't quite as big, there wasn't as much going on, but for the most part, I've been consistent for the past nearly 3 years now. And I decided to make this video today based off of a channel called Dora. This is another YouTuber. She's a smaller channel. It looks like around a little bit bigger than my channel, but recently has kind of started to grow a little bit. And she had a video called How YouTube is Changing My Life with Less Than 500 Subscribers. Tips for Introverts. Now, I'll link that video in the description down below because I think you should check it out. It's a pretty good video. It's the first video I'd seen of her channel, but it inspired me to kind of want to talk a little bit about my YouTube journey. Because I have heard, I've had people over the years question, why are you making YouTube videos? What are you doing? That's a young kid. The kids make YouTube videos. That's not something that, you're older. You should be professional and in a career, wear a suit and tie and go to a professional type of job. And that's just not me. But it used to be kind of sort of. I never really wore a suit. But it's something that YouTube over the course of the past few years has really changed my life in some ways that I don't think are really obvious outwardly to a lot of people. And when I say change my life, I don't mean in ways financially where I'm not making money doing this, right? But I mean ways such as learning how to edit videos, learning how to speak on camera, learning how to speak in front of people. I've had a lot of experiences over the years with YouTube that have really helped me grow as a person. I've learned how to investigate things, how to, with the Legends and Tales series that I was doing a couple years ago and even into last year, researching as far as like historical kind of stuff and digging into newspapers and all that kind of stuff. Photography. My channel started doing. I was doing photography the first summer of my channel, where I was actually trying to make videos teaching people about photography. And along the way, I was learning not only photography for myself, but I was learning how to make videos. That was the year that I bought the camera that I'm currently filming on right now, and I started kind of building up my skill set. When I first started, I didn't know anything about Photoshop. I spent the first few months, my thought process was, I'm just going to make YouTube videos. I'm not going to make any kind of special thumbnails. I'm just going to record the videos and upload them straight to YouTube with no editing. And I found out very quickly that I needed to edit because I was having a lot of trouble talking. And my thumbnails, the way that they looked, I was picking a frame from the video, they didn't look good. So I had to start learning some new skills. The first one of those was obviously, I started using Photoshop for thumbnails. Now, I had been using Lightroom for the photography stuff, right? But I hadn't really been using Photoshop. Well, I wound up picking up Photoshop and started learning how to use it to the point where now I'm pretty quick. Anything I want to do in Photoshop, I can just jump in and do it real quick. I pretty much know what I'm doing for the most part. There's some more complicated things I've had to do where I have to look up, but for the most part, I'm pretty quick about it. I know what I'm doing now with it. My editing software, I use DaVinci Resolve for editing. it's a very complex. When you first look at it, it's like, oh my God, this is insane. It's the kind of software that movie studios use. It's a very, very high end type of software. And I started using the free version of it, and I was like, I'm going to learn how to do this. I'm going to figure it out. Wound up upgrading to the paid version. I've had the paid version now. I bought the license for it. So I own it. I've had that basically since 2021. I started probably about 4 months into my YouTube journey. At the time, I was still full-time. I was employed full-time. So YouTube was kind of just like a side hustle. I was learning it as I went. I was doing whatever I wanted to and just kind of having fun with it. When YouTube became a full-time gig for me, it was one of those deals where I was like, okay, now I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm going to try to make this full-time. And even since then, I've learned a lot about myself as a person. I've learned a lot about what works, what doesn't work, how to communicate with people. And I've learned a lot about YouTube in general. The algorithm itself, everybody talks about the algorithm, it's luck-based. YouTube is not a meritocracy. It's not where you're learning. It's not where the best stuff rises to the top all the time. It's luck-based, but you have to be able to capitalize on that luck. So it's something that I've been working on and learning more about it and trying to understand better. And along the way, there's things that I know now about marketing. I'm taking a whole college course on marketing, trying to get a marketing business management marketing degree is what I'm working on. And I'm doing all of that because of YouTube. I'm learning all of this stuff because of YouTube. This is all stuff that I would have had no reason to learn otherwise. I started my career in IT, started with desktop support and that kind of stuff. And I got really good with the IT stuff. But I had no reason to go out and learn anything about marketing or business management. I wasn't interested in any of that stuff. I had no reason to learn any of the skills like public speaking. The thing that really stands out the most to me is from a public speaking perspective. I never wanted to stand up in front of crowds. I'd get sweaty palms, knees weak, arms are heavy, all the good stuff. I hated standing up in front of crowds. But talking to the camera and getting used to the camera as thinking of it as basically another person, I've gotten used to talking and used to figuring out like what some of my issues were at first. I was saying a lot. That was one of the biggest reasons I had to learn how to edit, because I was I was recording videos and every other word out of my mouth was and I had to cut all of those out, and it was annoying as hell. But in amongst that, with the Legend and Tales stuff, one of the things that sticks out the most to me was when we went down to film the Moonville Tunnel video. And I'll link that up here if I remember. But essentially that video, I was covering the history of Moonville Tunnel. I was covering some of the backstory of some of the ghost stories that were down there and everything. And it was a very, very busy day. I've been down there a lot of times, several times. I've never once seen a big crowd outside of an event and this particular day. And I think it was because it was just a really beautiful day. It was a weekend, if I remember correctly. And so we were down there and I was like, okay, we're going to go out here. We're going to film this. And there's just people everywhere. And I'm standing there with the camera trying to film and talk about the history of Moonville as people are walking past looking at me like, what the hell's this guy doing? But there were several people that stopped and were just listening to me. At one point I saw everybody standing off to the side and I was like, oh, you guys can go ahead and go by if you want to. And they're like, oh no, we were just listening to the history. It's like, okay. So I became a public speaker unexpectedly that day. And it's got me to the point now where like I haven't had the opportunity to do a lot of public speaking engagements, but I'm a lot more confident in my ability to do that now than I was 3 years ago when I first started doing all of this stuff. So between the public speaking skills and the marketing and learning how to do brand management, Photoshop, video editing, all of these different things I've learned along the way, and there's still a lot more to learn, as I grow and as the channel gets bigger, subscribe, help me grow. But as the channel gets bigger, that's something where I'm going to be learning new skills as I go along the way. Though there will be a time, I'm sure, where I will have companies reaching out to me for sponsorship type of things, and I'll have to, learn how to handle those situations and learn how to properly turn down or accept offers from companies for sponsorships and how to manage those. And so that's all stuff that I'm going to still have to learn. There's still a lot of skills, but these are all skills that I would not have gotten, that I wouldn't have even bothered to look for had it not been for YouTube. And that's something that I think if you are looking to start a YouTube channel in 2024, you want to get into it and you want to get involved. You've been interested in it. You've been thinking about it for a while. You're thinking, oh, maybe I missed. No, you didn't miss anything. You can start a YouTube channel at any time. YouTube's not going anywhere anytime soon. As frustrating as YouTube can be, as bad as the ads are, as they've gotten so big now, they aren't going anywhere anytime soon. You can start a YouTube channel today and still grow. And if you want to do that, don't necessarily do it with the intent of, don't do what I did. I've been full-time for the last 2 years, basically. And it's been a struggle. We're still working on, we're still getting by, but it's one of those deals where, like, don't jump all in unless you can take the struggle that goes along with that. I've had to make sacrifices over the past couple of years in order to be full-time, but I've made those sacrifices because I fully believe that I can do this. And I fully believe that there is a future there. And I was willing to make those sacrifices for that. But unless you're willing to make those sacrifices, don't jump into it trying to do it full time. But know that regardless of what happens, even if you spend 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is, learning the process, learning how to make videos, you are gaining skills that will help you out in other places in your life down the road that are going to be invaluable to you as you go. And that's worth more than anything else that you can get off of YouTube. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe you get 100 million subscribers. You Mr. Beast it, right? You become like this rich, famous YouTuber, right? Maybe that happens. But worst case scenario, even if it doesn't happen, it's an opportunity to learn about some of those big core things that can help you out in other ways. And if you're interested in being a YouTuber, if you enjoy this kind of stuff, you might want to get into an industry involving video editing. You might want to get into an industry that involves the kind of things that will have skills that you will gain as you do this. Photoshop is a huge one. And I know AI is kind of starting to jump in there with a lot of this stuff. And there might be less of a demand for some things in the future. There will always be a demand for human intervention in those spaces. There will always be a demand in the artistic and the creative fields. There will always be a demand for the human element. And if you learn the skills, you'll be able to fill that demand. So that's what I got for this video. This is something, like I said at the beginning, I was watching the video on YouTube and I was like, this inspired me. It got me excited. I was trying to think of, like, what do I want to talk about next? I've got a bunch of things planned. I've got a bunch of different topics I want to discuss. Some of them are more controversial than others, so I'm trying to be careful how I approach certain things. But, it's stuff that I really want to get into, and this got me excited. And that's what I try to do, is I try to film and get these vlogs out when I'm excited about something, because if I'm not excited about it, it's going to show up. If I'm doing it, if I'm forcing a video, you can look back. I just unprivated a bunch of videos on my channel. Not unprivated. They weren't private. They were just not public. So you could find them on playlists and stuff like that. I just put them straight up public. You can go to my channel and see all of my videos. There's like 200 videos now. But you can go back and you can see, like, there's times that it's pretty obvious that I, like, forced, like, oh, I have to get a video out. So I forced this video when I really shouldn't have done that. And so with these, I want to try to not force them. I want to do them when I'm excited about a topic, when I really want to talk about a topic. And I think I'm going to wear the suit more often. I need some more shirts, I think. I don't know. You can go over to Patreon if you want to help me get some more shirts. I'll put the names of the patrons up here, so you can go over there. You get your name in the video. You help me get some new shirts, because I'm desperately in need of some dress shirts. I like the suit jacket, but I don't have enough dress shirts related. This one's not even a long sleeve one. Stuff you're not supposed to share as a YouTuber, but hell, who cares? But if you liked the video, if you made it this far, hey, hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel. I'm looking for, new people. We got the Discord. You can see that in the description below. Like I said, the link to the video that I've talked about at the beginning will be in the description below. Everything's in the description. So go down there and check that out. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if there's something else you'd like to hear me talk about. Maybe something YouTube related. I've also got a Q&A I just posted today up on my community tab. There's a thing over there you can go and add a question if you have a question for a Q&A video I'm working on. It's 1,000 subscribers special. A little bit late. I hit 1,000 subscribers in December. So we're about a month and a half late on that, but I'm trying. All right. We're getting it out there. But that's all I got. I want to thank you all for watching. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.